But going back to SF must have brought back some good memories too. It's not like you haven't been there in a long time, but
it's
going
been a
back.
while.
Yeah.
I went to SF last week, and I grew up in the Avenues by the beach, which when I was a kid was a really boring neighborhood. But I guess now, after COVID and unfortunately global warming, a lot of people, it's now become like a scene down there.
Oh, interesting.
Yeah, so I was staying with a friend that lives down there, and I didn't even go downtown.
Wow.
I just hung out like in the beach area.
Really?
Just like,
That's cool. Shit.
There's like all these cool little restaurants and like,
Okay,
people actually hang out at the beach because, SF is freezing. So.
Sure.
Sure.
So it was popping.
Yeah, it's a little bit more popping.
Right.
It's not like Venice Beach or anything.
Yeah, for sure. But then growing up in San Francisco, starting to skate, turning down the recruiter from Pratt, did you say?
Yeah.
Did you what age did you start going out into the city? Because you said you grew up in the Avenues.
Yeah. So I met Carl Watson in the 6th grade. And so I only skated in my neighborhood before that, probably for like a year in that neighborhood by myself. Had no friends that skated.
Huh.
And one day, there was a Safeway there, and there was a double-sided curb. And then there was a little plaza with like condos and ledges and stuff. So I was skating there by myself, and then a crew of dudes roll up, and it's like Pat Washington,
Wow,
Carl Watson, LeVar McBride, Marcus, and a bunch of other dudes. Those dudes lived in the Avenues too.
Oh, they did?
Yeah.
Gotcha.
Marcus and LeVar grew up in the Avenues, and so did Pat Washington.
Oh, okay.
But they lived on the other side of Golden Gate Park. So they were in the Sunset. I was on the Richmond.
Oh.
And also living in those neighborhoods at those times were like kind of like other kids that from the Mission would be like, oh, you live in a barn? Like they'd make fun of you.
Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah. Because it was like safe and boring.
They still want to fuck with you.
Yeah,
out there,
they're
bro.
like,
You can
yeah.
be anywhere, and there'll be some kids just randomly you walk down the street, and they'll like look at you and try to like fucking just intimidate you.
Yeah, SF in the 90s was a weird place. Everywhere. I mean, even California. It was like,
Yeah.
where are you from?
Right, California.
Yeah, certain places for sure.
Yeah.
Right.
So I ran into those guys, and then Carl was like, hey, man, I saw you. I've seen you around at school. I didn't know you skated, but, what's your name? Like, we became friends. And I think the next day after that, it was like 1 or 2 days after that, I went to school, and after school, he took me to his house. He gave me a set of Venture magnesiums and maybe a Think board, and we went down to Embarcadero. And I forget what my curfew was. It was probably like 4:30.
Just in time for dinner.
Yeah.
Right.
And I didn't get home until, I just was,
In it.
You were in heaven.
Yeah.
You love skateboarding. You skate by yourself. You go from skating by yourself into your neighborhood, to like being at this plaza with like all these amazing skaters. And obviously I was like just in heaven. And that same day, I stayed like 3 hours late. I got home 3 hours late, and then I got home and like the cops were in my house and shit.
Oh
Wow.
And she's like, my son's missing. Yeah, I came home and the cop, but I mean, she was relieved because I wasn't missing, but she was also kind of pissed. It goes from being relieved to anger real quick.
Right.
Now that I'm relieved, I'm gonna be pissed at you for.
Well, because at the time, what did you say, 6th grade? Would be 15?
No,
14?
6th grade is like
12,
way
13?
young.
Yeah.
Oh, 12, 13?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Was that your first time going into the
6,
city on your own, kind of?
Yeah, that was my first time going downtown.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Nice.
Which is a trip. We always talk about on the show.
Yeah,
like
man.
nowadays, good luck having your kid
Yeah,
at 12 years old
You
taking the
probably won't be
bus into
doing
the
that.
city.
Yeah.
Like, doesn't happen.
No. Yeah.
Overprotective. A little bit.
Yeah.
Well, you
Yeah.
kinda
Things
gotta be.
change these days.
Yeah.
Sure.
Yeah. But, and then so, did you just start going there religiously then after that, I would assume?
After that, I was still pretty young, so in junior high, it became just a weekend thing. And then by high school, it was like an everyday thing.
Right.
Was Carl already sponsored at that point?
Yes, dude.
Wow.
Carl Watson has been sponsored from the first day that I ever met him.
Amazing.
Over 30 years ago.
Wow.
What was he saying? he was on.
He was on Dogtown
Dogtown
he was
first?
either on Dogtown at the time, and which quickly turned into Think, and then he was on Venture. He was on Dogtown, maybe like Canine Wheels.
Oh my god.
Him and
Because he was giving you a Think board. I was like, is he on Think?
maybe it
Yeah.
was Think or Dogtown.
Right.
Okay.
But him, Sam, Little Nick, and Sean Mandoli were on the Missing Children
Yeah,
board,
dude.
which was a Think board.
Yes,
Okay.
It was. Yeah.
definitely.
And that was like
my
very
God.
shortly after that. Like he was on a skateboard like at like 14 or 15 years old.
If you started skating with him, what was the level? You know, listen, it's skateboarding. It's hard to compare levels, you know. But like, where were you at compared to Carl at that time? Like, were you guys equally as? Oh, you were.
Carl was up here.
You were.
I didn't even know how to skate, dude. I mean, I knew how to skate, but like, I skated on my own.
Right.
Like,
Right.
I didn't have any influences. The tricks that I thought were cool were really not that cool. And like, you know, Carl was already doing like crossover nose mount slides on double-sided curbs and like
Wow.
impossibles every try.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, yeah.
So I'm sure skating with those guys and just being exposed to that like elevated your skills rapidly because you're around it now. You could see how to do it. You could get
Yeah,
inspired
totally.
and learn from people around you.
Well, skating, it kind of happened to me with art. Like last year, kind of what happened with skating is like you feel like you're really not good at it, and you keep doing it, and then one day something in your brain clicks, and
Yeah.
then you're like, oh, I think I kind of figured this out.
Get it
Yeah.
right.
Yeah. Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
You kind of see that nowadays with people. You're like, damn, that kid's good, and then all of a sudden, they're beyond good.
Yeah,
And you're
something
like,
clicks.
something must have clicked in their
Yeah,
head, like
sure.
because now they're fucking incredible.
That love
Yeah.
and the passion kicked in.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I'm sure being with Carl and all those guys, like now it's on your radar, sponsorship. This is possible. I see these guys. Like I can work towards this probably, you know.
Was it weird going into EMB and like were you intimidated by all those people there for the first time?
Not really, because I was so little. So like, you know how everybody loves the like little guy? Like my nickname was Little Lee, so like nobody really messed with me because I was just like so tiny and frail. So they were like, Little Lee, he's cool. And plus I was like, as time went on, I was one of the only young guys, like out of like Marcus, Carl, Mike York, and like they're, you know, they would go home early, which is like great. No disrespect. Do what your parents say.
Sure.
I was a little bit more rebellious.
Okay.
So I was the young guy who'd like, I'll drink 40s at Union Square till like 12 at night.
Oh, wow.
Even though I'm only like 13 or 14.
Right.
Oh shit.
Damn.
Yeah. So I don't know what my point is, but I was never really intimidated by them.
Yeah.
Right.
I mean, there was some moment, like there was some, you know, Jake Vogel was like, he could be a little intimidating, or like this dude Kamau was kind of, he'd like talk shit sometimes, but like
Okay.
we all became like super tight after that.
Right.
It sounds like you fit right in.
Yeah,
Yeah.
exactly.
Right. Give me that 40. I'm gonna,
I'll show you. Yeah.
It was a really rad group of dudes, man. Looking in hindsight, like me coming in from like on an outsider, I was just like, wow, all these personalities, bro. Like it was so thinking about it now, I'm like, dude, it was so fucking sick.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
sick.
It looked awesome.
Yeah.
Was Kelch around that time too?
Oh yeah.
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 Kelch was around. He was like the coolest dude ever. You always, with him, like you just felt like I'm untouchable.
Yeah.
Kelch is-
Anybody comes through here, like, you know,
Yeah.
like they'll have to answer to him if they fuck with me.
Wow.
Yeah.
Was but you were like drinking 40s and stuff like that. Was anybody else like Carl or those guys were just they'd go home? They would do
Yeah.
their thing, huh?
Yeah, they're a little smarter than I am.
Okay.
So.
Okay. But would you get in trouble?
That's why
I
they
mean,
have longer careers than I do.
But would you get in trouble like going home? I mean, after a 40, it you can get pretty drunk.
Yeah,
You know?
dude. I had a single mom, 2 kids, and I didn't know I was taking advantage of that, but I
Gotcha.
was.
Gotcha.
I was just, I didn't have much, and I knew that there's nothing that my mom could take away from me.
Right.
So I could kind of do what I want, you know.
Got you.
I was like the kind of guy who was always really respectful in the house. Like once I got a little older, and if I had any money, I would give it to my mom, and I'd always like help her with laundry and dishes.
Okay.
But then I'd be like, "Yo, I'm out."
Right.
Yeah.
Like I did my chores.
Yeah.
I'm good.
My brother was a little different. Like he's a little more like disrespectful in the sense of like my mom would like buy the groceries, and then he'd let all his homies come over and like eat them all. You know, like me, I was more. The house was sacred, but like I'm gonna go outside.
Right.
Yeah.
To the unsacredness
Yeah,
of, EMB and stuff like that. But yeah, like Dub said, what a cool environment to grow up. Because outsider looking in, like, talk about intimidating to go there. And like, woo.
It's like a modern day camp for skaters, you know what I mean? But you have to be in the circle, you know what I'm saying? Like it's
I
very
can't
cool.
I can't even wrap my head around what it would feel like. I mean, to go there, because I was so ingrained with the crew.
Right.
Like,
Yeah.
Right.
I don't know. Like,
But
you
you
must
would,
have
like,
seen people get kicked out and shit like that.
boards jacked.
Yeah.
yeah, that kind of that started happening kind of later.
Oh.
The board jacking kind of happened like towards the end, but like the thing that the crew would do would just really make fun of you and make you feel like shit.
Yeah, they did a lot of that shit.
And set you up for failure.
Oh man.
It'll set you up to fail. Like there was the T-dog trap, you know.
Right,
and we know. I mean, we're all sitting on the bench right here. There's the T-dog trap here, and we know that the guys are nervously skating in front of us, and they're like, and that they're gonna like eat shit.
Yeah.
And we're just waiting for it, you know, like.
So the T-Dog trap was what? Just a crack in the
It was like Embarcadero had these like lines, but this one just it was so clear. It wasn't like it was just that the guys were scared when they were skating through, so they weren't really on their A game.
Okay.
Yeah,
Right. And so they'd eat shit.
Yeah.
And then you guys would heckle them.
yeah, and we'd make fun of them and heckle
Oh
them.
my god,
I love
bro.
that.
I mean, the Embarcadero was kind of like, and we would do that. I think all kids do this, but it was like breaking down your like self-esteem.
Right.
Through like, and we do it to each other, you know.
It was like a hazing
Yeah.
type thing,
Yeah.
you know,
Yeah.
right?
But if it was affecting you, people would like continue to do it. You know
Yeah,
what
if they
I'm saying?
saw it bother you.
Yes.
Yeah.
Once they honed in on your weakness, that's where they go.
Oh man.
So true. But so many rad characters like Wing Ding and like just so many like awesome dudes. Like I'm saying in hindsight,
Yeah.
I'm like, dude, there's nothing else like that was like that.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? With those group of people.
Mm-hmm.
So fucking
For
sick.
sure. Yeah. I mean, I always like related, like our courthouse was kind of like our Embarcadero. Nothing like Embarcadero, but we had that in like the Love Park. You know what I mean? Like we had our little spaces where we could get together and,
Right.
get chased by the cops and stuff like that. So
Yeah.
completely different, but kind of we had our place here in LA.
Yeah.
Similar, you know.
But
we didn't
you
have
guys,
a T-Dog crack. No. we didn't have that.
but you guys had the utmost. All the LA guys, we had the utmost respect for all you guys.
Yeah.
And then all the East Coast, when the New York guys came, and when the DC guys came, like dudes from Pulaski,
For sure.
Pooch.
Okay.
and,
Oh, yeah.
Legend.
Yeah, all these dudes showed up. They were just in Philly guys, Stevie,
Yeah.
because it was like alternate worlds doing the same thing we're doing, like
Right.
same type of vibe. Kids at a plaza, city kids, not really fitting into the norms of like what society's telling them they should be,
For sure.
and kind of just going against society and yeah, we were all doing it. If they were even doing it like I even think there's parallels to like Sans in Barcelona,
Yeah.
or like
100%.
For sure.
or like the Dome in Paris. Like it's just kids in the city that
Conjugate in
Yeah,
one
yeah.
area.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Skating that place like that's that was our modern day skate park.
Yeah.
For
You know what
sure,
I'm
for
saying?
sure.
Like, at the time.
But I think back then I had no idea that Barcelona or any of these places
Of course.
existed.
Totally.
It was
yeah.
all United States.
Of course.
East Coast, West Coast,
True.
North, South,
Well, San Francisco, we got kind of lucky that we had Thrasher there, right? Because that
Right.
kind of like that showcased what we were doing, and it was like right there in our like backyard.
For sure.
Yeah, I didn't even think about that. That's definitely, kind of helped everybody that was in that area kind of get to where they wanted to because they were getting that spotlight.
Exactly. And from what I remember, there was some pushback at the beginning from like Thrasher, like don't show those dudes at Embarcadero. All they do is skate at this plaza all day, like. And then I don't know who exactly was saying that, but somebody was kind of having that vibe, from what I remember. And then later on, the whole vibe changed. And was like, whoa, these guys are actually like pushing the envelope.
They're innovating.
They're
doing their thing.
like, we need to showcase this.
For sure. Yeah, I can see that a little bit. You're every issue we're just gonna like keep showcasing Embarcadero. Like there's so much more out there.
Right.
I can see
there's
that.
so many awesome like spots within the city as well.
That's true. That's true. Yeah.
Sorry, not to be rude.
No, please.
Sam's like,
Oh, he's
like, what do you want for dinner? I'm like, he's like, you want ramen?
that's a
Keep
text you
going.
better
That's
respond to.
That's
right.
pretty
You said there was like at one point they weren't showing anything in Thrasher, but was there a point when you realized that wow, there's some next level skating going on here at Embarcadero, or is it always like that?
It's hard to see when you're in it.
Yeah.
It becomes kind of like the norm.
Yeah.
I don't, like you watch Henry every day. Or Mike Carroll, Javante, all these guys.
Crazy.
Mike York, Carl. I don't know.
Chica,
that becomes your normal, not my normal level, but that sets the bar of what you think what skating is.
Right. Because they're literally inventing tricks there,
Yeah.
like ledge
Day to day.
tricks and stuff like that have never been done.
I do have to say something, though. There's
Yeah.
a big difference between when we skated back in the day and the way that the kids skate now. When we did something, you do it one time.
Yeah.
You do it
on
one
footage,
time,
on
dude.
while
If you got
filming.
it on footage, even better. You never have to do it again. And almost if somebody saw it, you're like, dude, I did that one. I backside flipped a 7 that one time. And, in 93,
And Jerry saw it.
John was there, dude.
right.
But when the kids skate nowadays, they're like, I got to backside flip these steps 10 times a day.
It's crazy.
Yeah.
That's why they're so consistent.
Yeah.
Our mentality was a little different, We were kind of just like, I don't know. I guess we didn't take it as like training.
Right.
I don't know.
Well,
Yeah.
for the basic tricks, it was, you know what I mean? Because you wanted to keep those tricks on deck, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
But once you start getting into like, something that's a little bit more obscure in a sense of like, you got to try harder.
Yeah.
Then that's when we're like, I got it.
Yeah.
We're moving on.
You get it once and move on.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah. It's been my whole career, pretty much. I'm not doing that ever again. You miss a sequence, you better piece it together. I'm not. Yeah, you better take some frames of me landing, take some frames of the middle, and we're good.
Better call Sean Pearson.
Somebody, But yeah, it's so true though. That it's one and done. If you saw it, then cool. If not, cool. But you better have done it when somebody was around.
Oh, yeah.
Totally.
Yeah.
For sure.
Like, you're not trying hard tricks when nobody's there.
I did that by myself.
But what a time, to be a part of. But again, you don't think about it when you're in it. You're just doing it. You're living it. But outsiders looking in, it's like that place is special.
Yeah, man.
Yeah.
Fucking special, dude.
And it feels like that it was a really long time, but I think Embarcadero was like a 3-year run or something like that.
Something like that.
Yeah.
It seems like, but those
And
times
then it-
seem forever, man.
It
Yeah.
does. It seems like super timeless.
Back in, we always talk about that. Those years of like video days, Plan B, like that all happened in like 2 years. Like 2 Plan B videos back to back.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Questionable virtual reality.
Yeah.
It's like, what's going on here?
That's when they were just coming, like, with those fucking Plan B videos. I'm like, damn, back
Yeah.
to back like
Yeah.
that. Like,
Yeah,
like pushing skateboarding like no other at that time.
totally.
Man.
But to us, eternity, 10 years,
Yeah.
it seemed like, for sure.
Yeah.
But
And-
then you get the video and then you watch it over and over and over and over.
Oh my God.
You memorize
You
it back
memorize it.
in.
It becomes your
That
little
thing
Bible.
is
yeah.
on
The
repeat.
music, everything. Like you hear the music outside, like, and you'd be like, place it. Like, oh, that was Danny Way's part.
Where is that like button? Right? Is it right here or right here?
Just a little scroll coming down the bottom.
It's
Subscribe.
over to, it's on your
It's on my
left.
right? It's on
No,
my
on your
left.
left.
Hey,
Yeah.
hit
Right
that
there.
button right there.
Right there.
Right there.
Yeah, please.
The like button's kind of like in the middle there. It's like we're kind of. Like
it's like right here?
Kind of.
Like right
and the
there?
subscribe's like over to the left.
It's like right over there. All right.